This is the Week in Sustainability from Sustain.Life. It's where our team of sustainability experts and practitioners share commentary to keep you up to date on developing stories and news.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Sontag, Senior Manager for Sustainability here at Sustain.Life. I'm joined today by Devon, one of our Customer Success Managers. Devon, can you tell us a little bit more about what you do here at Sustain.Life?
Yeah, as the customer success manager, I work with our clients to make sure that they're getting everything they need out of the platform. I help them help them use the platform, train them on how to use it, help them with onboarding and the collect feedback for our product and sustainability teams.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today. Today, we want to talk about the heavy rainfall that we experienced here in New York City over the weekend. You've probably seen stories about it, but on Friday last week, New York City received over 8 inches of rain, more than any day in over 70 years. And at one point, over a 3-hour period, we had received about a month's worth of rain. So given our aging infrastructure here in the city, which wasn't built to handle that much water, there was a lot of flooding. We saw a lot of chest-high images of people wading through chest-high water, stranded vehicles, and basement apartments getting inundated. So thankfully, no lives were lost, unlike during the heavy flooding that occurred after Hurricane Ida in 2021. But it was still quite a scene up here. Devon, how were things up where you are in Harlem?
Yeah, so my grandmother was convinced that I had been washed into the Hudson, but we were fine up here, wet. The subways were all messed up, but no major flooding in Harlem that I know of, at least not in central Harlem where I live. So we were all right.
Okay, good to hear. We were in Park Slope at the time in Brooklyn, which is like basically a neighborhood on a hill. So we were fine, but at the bottom of the hill, just like blocks away, there was like entire intersections, like waist high water, and people struggling to get through it. So unfortunately, these types of storms and flooding are the new abnormal for the city as climate change worsens.
So Nick, why can you tell me more about why the city just like can't handle this? Are the sewer pipes not big enough? What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, at its simplest, that's what it is like the sewer system was designed to handle one and 3/4 of an inch of water, and we were getting per hour, and we were getting 2 inches of water per hour on Friday. And so everything just gets backed up. There's just literally no space for it to go. And then, on top of that, the storm water is carrying things with it like leaves and trash or whatever that might block up the system even more and then make it even worse. The other thing that we deal with here, which is particularly a problem in urban areas, is we have all of this pavement and all these rooftops that don't absorb water, they shed water. And in the planning industry, they call those impermeable surfaces. And impermeable surfaces are undesirable because they create huge spikes of runoff that the sewer system can't handle. So it's a problem in New York, but it's also a problem in smaller cities where runoff from highways can overload sewer systems or cause a lot of erosion. So this is one reason why rainwater catchment is important, and one reason why the city requires new construction to have catchment, so they store the first few inches of water before they release it to the sewer system, and also why green roofs are really great.
So what exactly happens to the sewer system when it gets hit by more water than it can handle?
Yeah, so all the sewer pipes lead to, one of many wastewater treatment plants that treat all of that rainwater and sewage before they release it into local waterways. In a way, they're cleaning it. When the plants reach capacity, though, they have to turn away water, which means they have to start releasing untreated rainwater and sewage into waterways. So when that happens, it's called combined sewer overflow. And this is why you might see, in near rivers, rivers that are near cities will have signs that say, don't swim during rainstorms. We have those signs here along the East River because that's where a lot of that water gets dumped. And when the system gets really backed up, then you can get backflow, which means the sewage water starts to flow in the other direction back into a building. And all buildings have check valves or backflow preventers that stop water from flowing in the other direction. But those things can fail when the pressure becomes too high. And when that happens, you end up with water contaminated with raw sewage in your basement, which is a serious health issue.
That's gross. And the city's response was pretty quiet. I wasn't notified ahead of time. I had no idea that there was going to be such flooding until it was already happening. And then I was like, oh, I guess it's going to rain a lot. So it took the mayor 12 hours to say something. Any idea of what's going on about that?
Yeah, I was in the same boat actually. Like I was checking the forecast, like I'm fairly well plugged in, and all I thought was it was just going to rain on Friday, and I didn't think it was going to be such a problem. Um, and I think it's really telling that in most of the images and videos that you see of the flooding in New York, you don't really see city officials, at any of those places of intense flooding. You don't see any police or FDNY assisting people, um, which I think is a problem. And I think I wonder if part of it is because this wasn't a named storm. In the past, when we've had really intense flooding, it's always been the result of a hurricane or a tropical storm. This was just a bad rainstorm. And I think we're not in a place yet where we're expecting such extreme weather from just sort of typical rainstorms or, run of the mill rainstorms. And I think that highlights where we are right now, where even sort of just no name storms are enough to cause serious havoc. So that wraps up today's The Week in Sustainability. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Sustain.Life is the leading and most comprehensive sustainability software on the market. To learn how we can help your company measure its emissions and take climate action, go to Sustain.Life. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this show on our YouTube channel or your favorite podcast platform. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.